Okay, so I had seen some stuff I wanted to talk about, but there was like so many I gotta see. I'm like, keep up. And one of the things I had seen, because yesterday I had seen the guy talking about the blizzard in Texas, but I was like, man, is he like joking? Like he's trying to be like, oh yeah, they're making like it's a big deal, but it's nothing. But it is a big deal, I guess. I think, yeah, last night I also saw footage. I think it was in Texas too, but it may have been a different place. But the place I saw yesterday, they said that this was the most devastating that had ever happened on this hill. Like this place is, so it must have been somewhere else. But the Wisconsin thing, that was real. That did happen. That guy, the trucker that I saw, his footage of it happening, that happened. It was really devastating. I think there was some people killed and stuff too. But this one was, I swear, I thought it was Wisconsin too. But I don't know, all these different. But this one was a huge hill that was going like this. And all these cars and trucks. You could see, and they said that it was backed up for miles and miles. And every single car or pickup or 18-wheeler that was coming down this hill was losing control. Nobody could come down this hill without totally losing control. And then they had a whole Jeep group, like Jeeps. I used to have a Jeep. Jeeps have a lot of Jeep clubs. So it was a Jeep club that goes out four-wheeling together. And they came to the rescue and started towing people off. And I guess some other people came in trucks and stuff and started trying to tow people. And I don't know. It was a huge devastation that was going on there. I think there may have even been people killed. But when you see the footage, like, that stuff is scary. I've been in a car that's sliding out of control backwards down a hill in the ice. And the ice is so scary. Like, I don't want to go out and drive on ice at all. Being in Spokane, and you know, I had been through some drives in some ice. That one was so scary, like, and that was flat surface, and your car would not stop. It just slid like you were on an ice rink. And I creeped home it would have normally taken me like a half hour to get home. Probably took me 2 hours. I don't know. I think I drove 3 miles an hour the whole way. Like, it was so freaking scary. So, and this was a big ass hill, like, oh my God, and those trucks. And they were just going, oh my gosh. So that footage is scary. And I think that footage was off of news too. So I'm pretty sure you can find that. And then the one I had seen, I'd seen another one too of Texas. I know I saw another one of Texas. And all the devastation going on with the roads and stuff. And so I just saw another one this morning. And it was the interstate going, the sign said Fort Worth. So, you know, it was one of the big interstate things. It used to just be like the 75. I swear, when I lived in Dallas, we had the 75, which was like not very big. And we had a toll road, and we had Central. And Central back then was two lanes. That was it. Even my friend that was killed when we were teenagers, she was killed on that road. But Central was the highway, and it went like down the side of Dallas. Like, you went down, and you would go down to downtown going down Central. And then the 75 like curved out around it, and that would be where you would go out to go towards Fort Worth or whatever. So now there's so many interstates and fucking shit now that I don't even, like, it's crazy. But so this one, it said Fort Worth on the sign, but the whole highway, the cars were just stopped. They were just sitting there. There's no movement. Nobody could move, and the cars are, it looks like some just whacked out thing. And somebody was out of their car and trying to push their car, and their car was just spinning, like, just started spinning. Like, there's no control. Like, and what's even crazy is, like, I've seen people do this footage, like, I saw people in Seattle when it happened. I'm not sure where this one was because there's been so many, but the people show, like, how icy the ground is, and then just start sliding, and oh my gosh. So if the car is just sliding like that, trying to get off of that and walk and get off the freeway, I mean, I saw some people, even when the road, when everything was so icy, everybody was falling down, the people trying to crawl, and they were going backwards, even trying to crawl. Like, man. And I know it has, you know, I mean, there is stuff going on with the planet and the poles and the core and all this, you know, when we're in this cosmic change. But I also know that they're doing something. The chemicals are interfering. Like, this water is slippery. It's not normal water. It is, it's like slippery. This one guy said even, he said it was 70 degrees where he was at. And his son was like, why is it snowing? And he's like, it's not snowing. It's way too hot. And so he went and he looked, and he said it was raining. But he said it looked like snow. And so he even went and set a cup out. And he said it filled up with all sorts of chemicals and junk and stuff. You know, and that's what's coming down on us, is that, you know, all of the stuff that they've put up there is just coming down on us. Are they putting more stuff up there to come down on us on purpose? I think so, because there's more people, the morgue that you're not allowed to talk about. That's totally associated, because the guy, he went and he looked under the microscope, the snow that he let melt in the cup, or the water that was coming from the sky. He went and looked under a microscope, and he said there was all sorts of weird shit and debris and stuff like that. But he said there was all these barbs, all these long, wormy, that had these barbs on them, and there was a bunch of them. And that's, people got to realize about this nanobot shit, man. And the control, and all they want is fucking control. And I can't even tell you. Oh my God, it is creepy. The 15-minute cities, like, it's all over the place now. People are talking about the 15-minute cities. And it is 100%. A whole group of people, just like, protect yourself, protect everyone in the world, get it. That are, oh my gosh, that is so wonderful. What a convenience. What a joy. We should all live in 15-minute cities. And I saw a big content creator yesterday talking in that way, you know, like, oh my God, that'd be so cool and all that stuff. So I went into her comments and I said, it's really bad. And I wrote bad in big letters. I said, do some more research. You know, you got to remember to always look at the other side. And so she did, because I saw this morning, she could have had a whole bunch of people say it, might not just been because I said it. But this morning she did another video, and she was like, she did go in and look at the other side, and she was saying, this is bad. I mean, this is total control. We're not allowed to go out. We're only allowed to leave our containment area a certain amount of times. You get charged. It's a fee. It's all sorts of bullshit. And then it's even going to go further, because the amount of gas we're allowed to use, the amount of food we're allowed to consume, like, everything is going back on us. When it's like, Jesus Christ, motherfucker, just let me go have a motherfucking fire. I'm cooking. I'll take care of myself. Like, if people want to crowd into 15-minute cities, like, I don't know how far this shit's going to go. I think it's about done. But if people go and crowd into them, because it's already starting in some places. They've even got one in Michigan or something. You know, I will go out and live out in the wilderness by myself. I'm not going to crowd into some 15-minute city. And also on the absurdity front, you know, where stuff I said has to just keep being absurd to outrage people. So the whole thing with the people in New York, like, I can't even tell you how many videos I've seen where people are so outraged. They are so fucking mad. Oh, they are mad. They are mad. How dare these motherfucking immigrants come? We are giving them, like, carte blanche. They got, like, the fucking primo treatment. Americans are dying in the streets. These people have primo treatment, and they're coming marching out, screaming and yelling, tearing shit. This isn't good enough. People are so mad. Like, people are taking it very serious. But, you know, that's part of the game. It's supposed to go that way, to wake them up, to get them to be like, yeah, that's some bullshit, man. You know, because, and they're like, we want them deported. Even there was this footage. This cracked me up. I swear to God. There's this footage. This one woman, and she's like, they come over here. They say they want a better life. Why the hell do you have your kids down in the subway selling candy? Oh, my Lord. Oh, Also, this woman, I see her a lot, and she has a certain thing that she speaks out about. And so she has people come in and like, you know, that's bullshit, bull, liar, and stuff like that. You're just saying this. Yesterday I was dancing around, and all of a sudden that energy became very interested and was really, and I was like, oh, so good vibration. And a low energy has the opportunity to transmute itself. So it is drawn in like to joy, you know, even if it's a dark energy. It's like, well, what's this? This awfully feels awfully good. What's going on here? So, anyways, that's just something to think about. Like even these, you know, just spend time trying to transmute the energy. You bring so much joy and so much happiness that that dark energy is more drawn out. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But, anyways, this woman was talking about, and I've seen a bunch of her videos, and it's some fucking nonsense. This is really, I mean, our society has gotten so sick. It's so mental too, because how this certain group of people are so judgy on their parents. Because I'm pretty sure I know the group of people we're talking about, the age range and whatnot. And they're super judgy on their parents. So many don't want anything to do with their parents. You know, well, they made me dinner and they didn't, you know, just weird stuff. It's like, you know, there's real abuse out there, right? There's people who have really suffered out there, right? But anyways, so, you know, as they're going and taking their kids to get gender reassignment surgery and taking them into drag shows. Like, I saw one. This was so fucking sickening. I can't even tell you. This guy who was showing this one was just outraged. It was disgusting. So there's a drag queen, but he's not too draggy, really. He's not very girly. And he's standing up, and there's a little tiny kid, like little tiny, like maybe 4 years old, up on the stage, and this guy is has the microphone as his penis for the kid to talk into. He's so fucking warped. And what motherfucking mom is sitting there? What dad? Do these kids have dads, or is this the feminist women who don't want anything to do with the men because the men are so toxic? I don't know. But I've seen other ones of these women allowing their kids to participate in this stuff. It's very strange, man. It's like, especially coming from, you know, being around so much sex abuse as a child, then, you know, when I see stuff like that, it's like, oh my God, damn. Man. And then that kid, like, you go back and look at that footage when you're 15. You turn around and look at that lady and go, who was protecting me here? Like, these people don't know what they're doing. They haven't seen the other side of this coin yet. And so they're just all in their ego and arrogance, you know what I mean? And so this is just so fucking strange. So there is all of this exploitation. It's not just like, here, go gender reassign, please, because, you know, you like boy stuff or girl stuff or whatever. It's not just that, no. It is, let me take pictures and videos, prance around in some cute little swimwear, some high heels, some makeup, some jewelry, prance around. I'm gonna get some videos, and then we're gonna put them on TikTok, and then we're gonna make a wish list, and then we'll get all these people to buy us stuff. And on the wish list, this woman's even showing the wish list. It's like bikinis, jewelry. I'm not talking just like some cute little like cloggy high heels for a little kid, because these little girls are 11, 12 years old. I'm talking red streetwalkers, like spike heel, red shoe. Like, these are some streetwalker shoes. These aren't fucking, like, where is a kid gonna wear these motherfucking shoes, please? These women, like, you are exploiting your child. And do you know the people who are interested in this? Do you know that they have technology? They can just take still shots. Oh, man, God damn, these people have a lot to wake up to. It's mental. But it's these people who are so judgy, you know, are out there just marketing their children and making money. Oh, look at how much, you know, we're doing so well. My daughter has 200,000 followers. They love to watch her walk around in swimming suits. Have you checked out our following, maybe? Do you go and look and see who's interested in seeing that? Because I damn fucking tell you, there's no women. There's no women who are interested in that. No women want to go. No girls, no females want to go watch 11 and 12-year-olds walk around in swimming suit and streetwalker shoes. Like, are you joking? What in the world? And this woman, when people are coming in and saying, like, you're making it, like, she's like, no. And she's showing things, and she's like, this is really going on. This is for real. People are really exploiting their children like this. It's so sick. But then when you have, like, you know, such a hard one. It's so hard to wrap your head around about the women having babies just to sell them. It's so hard. You know, I saw a rescue of these 3 girls, so I guess I don't even know what all goes down. Is there caravanning? You know, and I don't know. Do they just stop along the way and grab kids out of farms? Oh, those ones look good. We'll take those with us. You know, how do they start out with them all? Like, I don't know how. You know, I don't even remember the numbers of how many unaccompanied minors come across there. But this one, so it was along the river, and they found these 3 little girls. They were sisters, and I think it was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, 5 years old, and 2 years old or something like that. And so they rescued them and took them, you know, they could have drowned or whatever, but the coyote just left them there. So maybe something happened, or, you know, no telling. I mean, there's so much corrupt shit that goes on with that, man. The way they move, oh my God, it's so sick. And it's all stuff we've seen in the movies. It's been right under our nose, and it's all real. And, but what got me, so those girls got to be rescued. No parents or anything, like these tiny girls. And like the 6 or 7-year-old, whatever, the oldest one was, you know, caring for these other 2 little ones. And even when they picked her up and put her in the car, you know, she was very much like trying, it's just, fuck, it's heartbreaking. But what really got me was like, oh my God, those kids had all that ways to go. How many more coyotes are just sitting out there waiting? How many, you know, wild animals are out there? And like, man, God, there's so much sadness. And I always have to just really bring it back to, okay, this soul made these choices. This soul came in for this experience. This soul, you know, no matter how horrible and traumatic and judgy, you know, that I want to be towards their thing, you know, that I wouldn't want to deal with that. That's, you know, but there's other souls who do, who want to see, you know, what happens. Who am I? You know, when this goes down, what happens? You know, what do I learn from this? How do I grow from this? How do I expand from this experience? And I saw this other thing, and I thought this was kind of a cool way that this woman was saying about this, because I had talked about this before, even when I was a kid. Like, this was the big thing to me, was when I was feeling my body, because I used to sit there and be just like amazed about my fingers. And I'm not talking about like when I was an infant or something. I'm talking about when I was like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, maybe even 11 or 12. Sometimes I would just lay there on my bed and I would just be fascinated by my fingers and toes and how they worked and how I could do things and how feet and all that stuff. And I would think all the time about why I was in my body. And I always think about that I was here to feel, to see what it felt like, what sensation felt like. And so I was super aware of that as a kid. And it has always been a part of my understanding of my purpose of, you know, why you're born into this place, was to experience senses and what it felt like. And, you know, when I was a teenager, it was like sex and what does that feel like, all of this stuff. I was very about, you know, we're here to feel these things, because you can't feel them when you're not in a body that has senses. So this lady was talking about that yesterday, and why people come to Earth. And she said it's the only place out there where you go in and you feel your senses. So you get to come into this place so you can feel things that you can't feel when you're in your light body or whatever. So see, the density, there's a purpose to this density, but the density is a low vibration. So a lot of stuff can play out. And then a lot of people want to play out a lot of, I mean, you got to think about it. You got people who want to go out and climb Mount Everest. And then you got people who want to go lay on a beach. Like there's a big, you know, there's all sorts of different things of what's inside of us, who we are. And, you know, I'm a person who wants to go lay on the beach. I go and do some crazy stuff. Like I've jumped out of an airplane. And I used to really be into more thrill kind of seeker stuff when I was younger. Like I would, you know, try all sorts of stuff. But, you know, as I got older, I'm just way more like low key. I was way more of a, like, now that I don't know, you just get more perspective over who you are as this goes. You know, when I was a sun worshiper. I was somebody who was like, if I had a day off, I wanted to go lay out in the sun and just feel it on my skin and stuff. And so, I was very aware of the sun from the time I was a kid. So these changes in the sun are obvious to me. And that footage that I got, I went and watched that again. And you can totally see. And then, you know, this big shadow planet. And then this light coming out from behind it. It's so trippy. Like, and yesterday I also saw this video. I don't know what movie he was talking about. But so he was talking about all this stuff going on. And he was saying, like, it's shown in the movies what's next. And so he showed it. And I can't remember what it was called. But it was, all of a sudden, there starts being all of this stuff in the sky. Where it started being like, I don't know, big movement, big loud movement, crazy stuff. Where people were going out and looking. And it was like the sky started opening up. And everything started changing. And, you know, it does make it seem like, you know, that the stuff he was showing, it did seem like, man, that could totally happen. Would that be the first thing that would happen for the pole shift? Yeah, I think the pole shift has something with the energetic shift. So the energy has to go the other way. When the energy goes the other way, that will be a lot of people awakening. But I'm still like, you know, what is the thing? What's the catalyst to get them all to wake up? It's like one storm after another, one devastating thing after another. I saw a lady in Montana, and she was totally freaked out. Wasn't yesterday? I think it was yesterday morning. And she said in Montana they had a 4.5 earthquake, and she'd never been in an earthquake, and so she was like so weirded out. But she said, "Man, I'm so close to a volcano. Like, this is kind of creepy." So, you know, I mean, we got earthquakes going on there, and this was also this woman. The one woman whose house burned down, they said was like a palace. So she's been doing a whole bunch of videos. And she had been living in it was in Florida. And she had been living in the house 20 years. It was like the house where all the kids came and stuff. She said there's so many people devastated about her loss of their house that she said that's making her feel better because so many other people are also sad because she had a whole bunch of kids. And it was just like the place to be. And she had lived there 20 years, but it was in everybody was asking what happened, and it was an electrical fire. See, electricity, and I'm telling you, they can do fucking burst right into your house. Man, I know they're doing this shit on purpose. And so she said electrical fire started in her garage, moved up the wire into her attic, and then fully took over the whole house. So, and I think they barely escaped with their lives. Then this was nutty too, because the woman who keeps talking about, and it's so crazy how these two women look kind of similar. And then I keep seeing their videos. But this woman who has the daughter who's lost in Tijuana, so she's just being, I don't know, these people are just assholes. Well, you should be doing this. You should be doing that. I can't believe you're doing this. Like, people are just dicks, man. Like, you're so quick to judge. And that's what you're here to learn. Like, it's a big difference to tell somebody else what to do than what you would do in the situation. So you got to learn what that situation's like. I wouldn't be judging any horrible situations right now, I'll tell you that. And so this So she's responding to all these people, and she's like, you're telling me I should just go run down there right now? And so she pulls up footage of what's going on in Tijuana. And it was, oh my God, it was crazy. I mean, it was like fucking Western shootout kind of. It was like crazy. And I was going to go in and comment, you know, and say, like, don't, people are quick to tell others what to do, you know. And when I tried to comment, it wouldn't let me. It said the video was being taken down. I was like, oh my God, that's how much they don't want us to see what's going on in other places. Even this woman with her missing child. And it's a missing woman child, but it's her child, even if it's an adult. But that she's trying to, you know, network and get people's attention on this. And then they take it down. And I know the whole reason they took it down was because of the violent content. Because it was, they don't want us to see, you know, what's going on everywhere. And I'll tell you another thing, too. I watched this movie yesterday. Yesterday I was looking for something to watch. I was like, I don't want to watch something. So I went on Prime, and there was this movie. It was from 2022. Can't remember what it's called. I made a couple of videos on it, but it's a true story. It happened in Kentucky, and it was, and the whole thing with the devastation when the coal mine shut down and how they brought in the drugs. In the movie Dope Sick, it shows how they did it and why they did the whole thing. And I know that they did it to just destroy the small towns out there, the rural areas that people were trying to survive in. They didn't want that. They want to destroy them and move everybody, herd them into the cities, and now herd us in smaller spaces. And people just like, yeah, it's good. It's good for the earth. Yeah, nobody, yeah. God damn. And it's all about convenience. That's very convenient. Okay, so just hook you up to a computer, plug you in, and just sit there all day. Just convenience. Let's sit there and let your computer do your thinking for you when you sit in your little fucking cubicle space. And I'm sure, I don't know what they'll even be doing, just traumatizing people so that they can take the loosh or something like that. Who fucking knows? But so this movie was a true story, and this was FBI going in. And so in Kentucky, this little town where this lady was from, it was once the coal mines had closed down, she said it just became drugs, everybody. And everybody would just gather up in trailers and all just sit there and party. And like it just became a total drug area. And when they brought the drugs in, see, to these areas, it was through medical. It was like somebody got injured. And so then they went to the doctor and they said, oh, well, we got this new great thing. Try these. And then they got all hooked on them. Then they all started smoking them. I don't know. Started shooting them up and stuff. So then they have all of, you know, what comes with that territory. So the FBI, it seemed like, because they had a new kind of police guy who was just like, it was nepotism. I don't know. He was trying to prove himself. He didn't know what he was doing. Then the FBI came and he was brand new. So these two guys together wanted to make a name for themselves or something. And so they decided to take on, oh, when I just moved that, I want to say this too, because this is weird. Yesterday, it's not happening right now, but last night and yesterday, things in my house were rattling and shaking. I kept being like, what is rattling? And then outside, I kept on pausing things and going outside and listening. And I was like, man, I don't know what's going on. It was like, it made me think there's something big. Like, are they under the ground doing something? Maybe they're under us doing the tunnels or something. It was very strange. It was really weird, strange sounds. And then this, you can just tell when there's certain noises in your house that don't happen. You go up next to it and it's rattling. It's just sitting there shaking. It's like, what is shaking my house? Like, weird. But, you know, they have those big fucking trucks over there. But when I shut the thing and listened, a couple of times there were those big trucks. But then later, when things were rattling, I couldn't, I don't know. There's just weird shit going on. But, so in this movie, or in this story, the FBI guy starts trying to, I don't know, they find somebody who does some crime, and then they try and get them to turn on people to lessen their sentence and stuff like that. So it seemed that that was going on. And so this woman, she, I don't know, all this drama, but anyway, she thought that was a good deal. She wanted to get involved in that thing. And then plus the FBI guy was super cute. So she was attracted to him. So she starts really flirting with him and coming on to him. But remember, she's not there telling the story either. Because as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a good goddamn. Like, I swear to God. You go into some place and you got all these drugged out people who are just, and I don't care if somebody is cute. You're going to then start getting involved. And then if you're somebody who is like, if they're not all there and you are, then you're manipulating them. You're getting them to do something for you. Like, I mean, that's just for sure. And so, I mean, that was so obvious. Like, I mean, you got this girl strung out like this, and then she starts, like, trying to fix up and calm, and she's always trying to talk real seductive to him and all this stuff. And then she gets more and more, you know, this is his side of the story, though. And they start having an affair. He starts a big old affair, and he just has a new wife who looks like the girl, too. They both have brown curly hair. And so he starts an affair with that one. The other one he has a new baby with. And then she gets pregnant. And then so he is having this big old affair with this girl. And he's very opportunistic. You know, he's very motivated in his job. He wants to move up. He wants to be, you know, he's wanted to be an FBI agent his whole life. And, you know, he'll do anything he can. And he is. You're manipulating, like, this is coercion. You're not allowed to do this kind of stuff. It's criminal, what you're doing. And so he's has this big affair with this chick. She becomes obsessed, of course, you know. She even goes and starts talking to his wife. And his wife was saying, you know, she was a big partier back, you know, and then she got together with him, and he was a straight arrow, that it really helped her. And this is what the druggy girl was also thinking, you know, she wanted out of her life. She wanted a new life. She wanted this girl's life. And she was madly in love with this FBI guy. And he was her only support through this. Like, she was having all these people turn on her because she was, I mean, she was changing. She was fixing herself up. She was all of a sudden having all this lost time. Then she was seen coming out of a hotel. And she had started, because her husband, they weren't together, even though they lived in the same place. A lot of people do that when there's money issues. They're not together, but they live in the same place with their kids. So they were doing that. Well, then she wanted to start getting information from him. So she started sleeping with him again. So he thought they were back on. And then he finds out she's coming out of a hotel with no, he didn't even know who with who. And so he turned on her too. He was mad. He beat the crap out of her. And this girl is just having, like, the worst. Oh my God. It was devastating, especially coming from the perspective of ever being somebody who's been desperate and alone. And, you know, you knew how she was feeling. And you could see clearly how he was taking advantage of that person with power and getting her into a situation that she had no idea was even, you know, because then once she had gone to court and testified, I mean, she was getting the shit beat out of her by people in this town. Like, the town turned on her, and she was just falling apart. And then the guy had turned on her. He moved away. He just took off and moved, and he got a higher position in the FBI where, oh, he was now the leader. Everybody, like, I mean, because he was using her to get information. And there was this huge bust, and then she had done this. Once he had broke up, she tried to undermine his bust. And then there was more things, like, I mean, you got to remember, she is involved with criminals. And no, my internet's fucking up. So she was devastated. And she's involved with criminals. And so then he gets his house it's the same thing that happened in my brother's house. The Molotov cocktail thing. My brother's was done by the guy who was fixing his house. What are those people called? The contractor who was doing the job after my brother's house was flooded. That his house was flooded, and the upstairs, and his was that $1 million house, and the upstairs was in the downstairs. I had to totally redo the house. I had to move out for a year. Hired this contractor who started doing insurance fraud. My brother caught him, fired him. Then the guy came and did a Molotov cocktails on his house with his daughter in the house. And it reminded me of this movie because it's the same thing. Did that, only it burned my brother's house down. It killed his animals. His daughter got out, but she had to run out of the house like naked in a towel. She was in the shower. And his animals got, it was fucking so sad. But it was the contractor who hired somebody to do that. Like, these people, I'm telling you, like, when there is an opportunity for corruption, some people just jump on board. They're all in that. Like, they want it. That is a dark energy that they, you know, are feeding. So, anyways, in this one, so he moves his family and they go in some other city or whatever. She tracks him down and finds him. And then she's pregnant. And she says, like, I'm pregnant. And I want us to get married. I want you to leave your wife. I want us to be together. And he was like, hell no. And so they got into a brawl in the car. She started hitting him and screaming at him, like, you ruined my life and stuff like that. And then he says that he just, you know, hit her and lost his temper and hit her back and just broke her neck by accident. And so then she died and he didn't know what to do. So he dumped her body. And 8 months later, then he told. But then the evidence definitely shows that there was, you know, he brutally murdered her and then dumped her body. And then he did tell, but then he told, you know, a very skewed story. So he got 10 years. His wife, who was alcoholic, she couldn't deal with her shit. She ends up dying before he even got out of jail. He got his kids back, I guess, when he got out of jail. But when in the interviews you see him, he's very, you know, oh, well, yeah, I did do that, you know, and I did do that. But, you know, it's just very minimizing what he does. But the whole thing is that's just, you know, that's not an isolated story. That's how this thing runs. That's like the whole thing with the Spawn Ranch, all of it. This is what they do. This is what, and these opportunistic people who will, you know, want to make a name for themselves, who don't care who they stomp on and destroy under their feet in order to get to the top. The FBI has definitely shown that you've got all of these, you know, people who will do anything and they don't care. And then people, you get them a little bit of power and they become like, you know, they lose their humanity. Like they stop caring about other people. And it was a really, really sad story. The girl who's in it, she was Daria, I think her name was, on Game of Thrones. She was the dragon queen who, you know, burns it all down at the end. So she is the one who plays the informant, and she's proud of it. She's really proud. She's an informant. She's important to the FBI. It's fucking it's so sad. So sad how people prey on the weaker. You know, I mean, even you could say she probably was weak-minded. I mean, she was in this small coal mining town in the mountains. Like, they didn't have to worry about a lot. They just had their own little community, and they were all doing fine until they start closing down the coal mines and then bringing in the drugs. And then, you know, devastation occurred. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with being simple-minded. Like, it's these people, these people who think that they are the academics. They are, it's the same thing with the Christian. Like, it's these people who get all in their ego, who think they are right, they're smarter, they know better. And it's, I mean, they're every single day. I have people come in and tell me, you know, Jesus stuff and Christian stuff, and, you know, I'm wrong. You know, the only savior of this world. There is a one true God. There is a one true God, and it's called Jesus. It's like, man, just, fuck that. Yeah, there's just, man, people have a lot of work to do on themselves, and it's all, you know, coming up. It's all coming to the surface more and more. Like, this was, some of the stuff like I've seen on the news and stuff. I mean, Tucker's going all in. And I would think probably, if I were to guess on him, I would say he's totally on the white hat part. I think he probably was more of a, you know, was being used because he had contact with Hunter and stuff. But deals were made. And he has done so much stuff with disclosure. And the Putin speech that has been translated, you know, that one. And what was that other one? That there's so much stuff going on with the PF in that the Veritas interview and the whole thing, like that stuff is just, and all of what the PF is saying, and, but there was something else about, something else Tucker had said, because I've seen like a bunch of things where people are sharing things that he was, bringing to the light. It was another thing. I can't think of what it was, but he's bringing a lot of stuff up that, oh, this was kind of weird because this was a news one. And I don't know what news. It could have been CNN. I'm not sure. But so the video, and you can find the video because it's out there, because there's so many people talking about it. But so it's a news guy who is one of the ones on the street. So he's not behind the desk. He's on the street. And he's doing, you know, talking about whatever. And suddenly his face starts changing. And it's weird because, like, his nose starts turning. Like, and then this starts, like, chopping. It's like his face just starts transforming while he's talking. So he just steps off the camera. And then he comes back on. And so all these people are in there commenting and stuff. Like, so it was seen by a lot of people. Because, you know, why, you know, where people are saying, like, why wouldn't the camera follow him? You know, why is he stepping off to regain his face composure? And this was also another weird one, is this woman said in 2003, so she was in California when the fires were going. She said there was a big giant fire, and so they were videoing something with this fire, and so they just so happened to catch a fire being started by a person while they were doing this. And so it was big news, and the news said that they wanted the footage. So they invited him to come down, and she said, this is what's weird. And she said she had no idea what she was seeing at the time. It was so strange. But so she said she went walking in, and it was this giant, giant warehouse. And she said it was all, her and her husband both went walking in. They were brought to this place, and then they were brought in to the building. And she said when she was walking, it was like tons and tons of room, like sets, like just one set after another. And she said all the sets were set like different countries, and they all had desks. And she said every single one of them had like a robot. She said it was an AI. It wasn't a human sitting behind the desk reporting. But it was reporting for all these different countries. Like each one had its own. Like it wasn't the same AI. It's like this one had one. She said it was the weirdest thing she'd ever seen. She said I had no idea what I was seeing. I was so confused by what was going on. And so she said that they were just sitting there looking, trying to understand what was going on. And she said it was so weird because it was so obvious that these people were robots. And that they were all reporting the news to all these different countries from this one place. And she said, then all of a sudden, this man comes walking out and starts yelling, what the fuck? Who the fuck let these people in here? Get these fucking people out of here. And she said, strangely enough, Ellen DeGeneres was standing there when he did. And she turned quickly and said, here, let me show you where the door is. And walked them to the door. And she said that now at this point in time, when she's understanding more, she said, now I understand what fake news means, because it was totally fake. And there was no, I mean, this world is so fake. And then they have what this, like, is everybody quitting? So they've just got clones and shapeshifters out there working. Like, I know a lot of people are quitting, and then they want to put pressure on, well, people just don't want to work. Well, so what? So what? People will work to survive for themselves. They'll work and take care of themselves. They'll figure out how to feed themselves. So what if they don't want to work for you? What are you doing? What are you giving back to the world? Why didn't you work for you? Why did you work for yourself? And it's all just a ploy to get people to feel bad about themselves. Like, as soon as they get people to come back to work, they're going to fire you and hire AI to do the jobs. They're already, like, there's a McDonald's already you can go to in America. There's 100% robotic. There's no human working there. Like, so you got fucking non-humans cooking your food. And then you got people out there, well, I don't cook for myself. Okay, so now you got fucking machines cooking for you. And they got the commercial out. They want you to sit down at your computer and whatever that is that you know, hook up into your Wi-Fi and download yourself into your Wi-Fi so that your computer can read you and tell you how you feel. Because obviously you don't know how you feel. You need the computer to tell you and tell you what you need. Play the music that is good for you and stuff like that. What is really nutty too is, like, I leave things up to the universe all the time. Like, you know, put on a song that I need to hear or something. And yesterday too, like, this has been so trippy. Like, there's where I've been talking about something to somebody, and then I'll go on TikTok and the next person I'll be talking about. And it is so weird that yesterday I've sent a couple to my daughter. I don't even know if she's watching them. There's some good ones too. But I had sent a couple to my daughter, and I was like, this is so trippy. Because this is just, I was like, this is, you know, when you think the universe isn't talking, you think the TV's not talking, you think the music's not talking, but it is. It is speaking directly to you. The information is coming to you, is brought to you when you have the awareness. It's so crazy. And I'll tell you another thing too, because, I know I don't want to talk about, you know, minor and, you know, but, you know, it's a struggle when you've been devastated, you know, so, but anyways, you know, one place where a lot of girls go, and this is what we were trying to prevent, is these girl or group home places. And so, you know, yesterday I saw this video, and there's a whole, man, and they're all the same age. Fuck. 17-year-olds, 15-year-olds. But all these group homes, all these girls are going missing. And they're being found dead. So, like, I was like, man, you know, we gotta make it, man, there's no way. Like, this is dangerous time. Dangerous to not have protection, not have shelter, not have anyone there for you. Like, there's going to be a lot of people who didn't have anybody there for them. They're going, you know. Homeless people who didn't have anybody there to give them shelter. I've seen so many devastating, you know, emotional, not devastating, but like emotional stories where people are going out and interacting with the homeless. Like, the compassion and empathy in hearing people's stories and really realizing, like, oh my God, you know, this isn't just an asshole who doesn't want to go to work, who wants to sit around and drink beer and beg for quarters on the side of the road. And these people have got devastating stories that they got into a hole and they couldn't get out of. And then they're doing that. You know, they know how it works, the system. And this system is doing it on purpose to bring more people into the streets so that they can, you know, take them out easier. And got these people, it's not genocide. All different races are killing. It's called the human race. Like, I know you like to see divided up. Like, they all do. And I saw another guy too. I love these guys where they're like, there is no black or white people. We're all brown. And pull up all of the different shades of brown. There's every single one of us are a shade of brown. But that is, you know, exactly what they were trying to take out to make these white people. And I just know it all has to do with the melanin, the iron, the copper, all of these things. They are transmitters for, it's something with the blood and the soul. And I know that's what they were trying to do, is to take those things out, because they want just, it's like they want the energy of the soul. They want the soul, the energy. Like, they don't even know how to really harness free energy. You know, they do all of their cumbersome electrical grid system, but they want to access our energy. And, you know, so they're trying to manipulate to do it, but so they want the soul's energy, but they don't want the soul's attitude. They don't want the soul's identity. They don't want the soul. They just want, it's very strange, you know, but it's very, you know, scientific manipulation of trying to figure out what they can do. And this was, who was that I saw? So there's a whole team of people who are going after, and, you know, Robert Kennedy Jr. is on the team, so you know what they're going after. So they're going after all of that. So there's a whole team now that is going to be bringing all this stuff to the surface, telling people. So that's going to be going on. And my stomach's growling again. I don't like to just eat first thing in the morning. Like, I even tell my body, like last night, even when I was going to bed, it's like, sometimes you got to let your body be hungry. Like, you don't have to, every single time it makes a noise, you have to run in and feed it. Every time it makes a growl or a grumble, you have to run in and feed it. You gotta, you know, let it use its own energy. Let it make some grumbles and stuff like that. Let it be hungry sometimes. It's okay. Like, you know, one thing is I really, really feel strong about this. It's like, people think like their bodies are failing them. It's the other way around. You're failing your body. You're not tuning into what your body needs and paying attention and thinking about it as energy and stuff. But so this person was talking about World War II. We didn't win. The other people won. And, you know, now we're seeing that they won. And, yeah, I mean, we made deals. We wanted those scientists. We gave them jobs. We stole the scientists away from Germany. You know, and I think, though, that they just continue to spread out. Because, I mean, they're all over in the crane of you. Like, there's so much more stuff coming out with that. And Joe and stuff. So, see, they can't just let Joe go down by himself. He's got to bring the whole ship down with them. So, as they're bringing up all of this stuff, like, that he did. So, I was saying, like, if they don't go straight in and just start doing arrests and stuff like that, so that they can bring more people in to show the connections to the crimes. And so now, you know, there's more with the grain of you than Zelensky. And I didn't even realize it was Obama who put Zelensky in. They had taken out someone else. So, see, they were placing their puppets. And, you know, these people, like, but people still love Obama. They love these people. And it's going to be very devastating when they find out that their idols are monsters. And then you got to start looking inside of yourself. Like, why wouldn't I have noticed that? Why wouldn't I have seen that? What in me was wanting to support them? Like, there's all these questions that people have to ask themselves. And it's hard questions. It's painful questions. But it's the questions that are growth. It's how you expand. You face the hard things. If you don't face the hard things, you don't grow. And then what is the point? Because the whole point of this life is so you can grow. You come here for experience. You come here for feeling. What does it feel like? What is loss? What is loss? If you don't know, you know, if you're living on some other planet and you've never had loss, then yeah, it's a curious thing. What in the world would loss feel like? So you can see, like, why souls would come in. It's not real. It's not like they're really losing anything, but they get a feel what it really feels like to have loss, what loss actually is. And so this whole thing has so many things that we learn from here. And, you know, it's super important, because the main thing is about learning who you are. And yesterday they were making another thing that was showing me, you know, because like those land masses, like where I said, where like you would go to, you know, if you went to another planet, like if you went to the Pleiades, or you went to Syrian, whatever, like it confuses me when we have places in this name. But, so you went there. So if you went to the Pleiades, you go there and it'd be all these people who all are white with, I think they pretty much have white hair, and that they have, I think that they are almost like light bodies. Like they're kind of just like light. And then you see kind of a surface, because they don't have the same thing of feeling and material matter and stuff. Like they don't have those same kind of things as what you have here in this density. But so you go there and be all these white people, and you go to like Andromeda, you know, and they'd be all like, I think those people are blue or gray or something. And then you go to, you know, I mean, there's so many places, you know, and most people all look like native, they're all brown people on most of the planets, is what I have heard. And so then here under this dome, then we have all these different land masses that have come together that we go around. And so you have like these different groups, right? These specific ones, but it is all of them coming together is what creates something new. So it seems kind of like when I'm seeing this, like I don't know for sure, like it's all like a translation, but when I'm seeing this, it's almost like, you know, taking like kind of like Noah, like you take two of each thing and put them in there. And so it's kind of like under the dome, take this certain, you know, two of each thing, and let's see if they can make it and get along and find what's the same. Because when we do that, it ripples out into the whole universe. So when we come together and then they can observe us, then they can, see, I think this is the part of the experiment zoo thing too, because I know like we're being experimented on, but there's also a bigger experiment going. And so so if we all have to start getting along, then, and they're watching, then they can see how it transpires. So then they can also grow at that, because then all of the universe, the whole solar system can come together more united. It's kind of like we are the nucleus for this kind of unity or something. Like this unity thing that is going on here is really big, about us all coming together, going past our differences, going past our biases, letting go of all of the stringent things that separates us and keep us divided, for us to dismantle those things and come together. And, you know, that is what, you know, I know that's one of the levels. It's one of the layers of what's going on. But then you also have all of your own individual layer, you know, your own individual growth that is happening. And that is the thing that is the most specific that you need to focus on, is your own growth, your own triggers, your own expansion. Because then as you expand and everyone around you expands, that expansion all starts feeding into one another and becomes like a giant ocean of love. You know, it's like we're creating this like ocean of love. You know, we're creating a new world. And so anyways, you know, to me, you know, just keep staying excited, even when all of this outrage and all of this, like, I mean, there's going to keep being crazy things. There's going to keep being people dying. There's going to keep being, you know, whole entire cities devastated, traumatized, and destroyed. Is going to keep going until it's all done, you know, like, there's no going back at this point. It's like the arrow has left the, it's like, what is that little thing? Like, you know, they have that little, it used to always be a thing in cartoons and stuff, but it was like, they put like a little, I think they used to use them in like Civil War or something, cannon. It's like the ball is already shot out of the cannon. It's already in movement. The trajectory is already going, you know, and it's people running and jumping in front of it, I swear to God. But everything is already happening. There's no stopping it. There's nothing we can do to stop it. It's already in motion. And, you know, there's going to continue to be all of this stuff going on. And then, like I keep saying, there's something will change, and then things will change, but it's going to keep having a lot of devastation for a while, I think. I think by the time it's all said and done, like, there's going to be a lot of cities that are, I mean, the map's going to change. We're going to be on a new map. So and then, even once that goes down, because if this money thing, which I keep hearing more and more, like this money thing, I think February is our good money thing. And so if that starts going, and they start giving people land and stuff, and people start moving, and cities are being destroyed, anger, and people going in and hunting people down, and violent behavior, you know, but the people who are doing that are keeping themselves in low vibration. So then they will, if they're not doing their healing, or something is moving them up in their vibration, they won't go on in the game. They'll be held back. Like, they would go to their life review and see, like, oh, so my anger, so what held me up? What, like, they don't go in and be all mad at themselves. They go in and just observe, just understand themselves. So it would be like, oh my gosh, so my anger got the best of me. I got too caught up in my emotions. I got too upset. And so, you know, those are the things that you go and learn in your life review. But remember, anything you put out of balance, you got to put back in balance. And I guess I better go put Stella back in balance. She's having such a hard time, man. And now we've got this fucking another snowstorm again. So we've got the snow, and then it's like, oh my God, it's fucked. It's so cold and so snowy, and she's so miserable. Oh man, just knowing, I just know, though, for things are going to get better for some of us. Even if it's not for everybody, things are going to get better for some of us. So that's what I'm banking on. Something's going to get better. I just know it. I have trust. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.